I'm over here freaking eating Wendy's, so get your shit. Damn, this girl has so many freaking notifications on YouTube. Holy shit.
Should I be scared? The feeling's so different now. You got me floating here, a feather in the air. Oh, but when the wind blows, will I tumble or sail away? Or would you have me stay? And what if I escape? I know I'm spinning in a vicious cycle. I'm scared of doing something I'll regret. Maybe this is right, but I'm still staring at your silhouette. What if you're everything I need? A fire in my heart, the air I breathe. What if I'm incomplete without you by my side? What if I go against my heart instead of confessing from the start? What if I miss out on the life meant for us? I need you by my side.
Dude, not my first meal of the day being extra strength headache relief.
We found something that'll never fade. We can be ourselves and figure out the rest along the way. What if you're everything I need? A fire in my heart, the air I breathe. What if I'm incomplete without you by my side? What if I go against my heart instead of confessing from the start? What if I miss out on the life meant for us? I need you by my side. I need you by my side. I need you by my side.
Dude, I need to know what McDonald's puts in their freaking Sprite. Like, I used to work there for like a month, but besides the point, I don't know, because like when you like, I'm drinking the Wendy's Sprite right now. It tastes like Sprite, but like when you have it at McDonald's, that shit, I don't know. They take it from the glaciers or some shit.
Climb my way to success. Stay at deep at the check. Stacks on stacks, we repeat. Another
A
man
burger!
down is easy. You walk in, I'm giving you eyes. Just one look, now you're mesmerized. Few words, now I got you smiling. Baited, got you hooked on a siren. These boys be reeling, trying to fight what they're feeling. Don't make it obvious. Here we go again. Let's be more
Oh, why?
friends. Sirens in your head.
Kinda nice.
Ah! You ready?
Uh-huh.
Okie dokie. We're reacting to the Luigi case. Woo! It's just Jeannie and I so far.
I'm currently stuffing my face
It's okay.
in a Wendy's burger.
I have one of those pink cookies. You know these ones?
Let me Oh, those are good.
Yeah, yeah. My mom got it yesterday at the Pondose place, pastry.
Nice.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, I miss when me and you used to buy
December
like when
4th,
I used to buy
2020.
conchas from the Mexican grocery store, and me and
Oh!
you would eat it.
Yes.
What
Oh,
the?
we have
My
some.
God!
What?
Jax is right next to me. He jumped up. See him, but like I saw white in the corner of my eyes. I turn around and his scruffy ass is looking at me.
That's
He
crazy.
sees that I'm eating. Okay, my bad, chat.
For Brian Thompson, CEO of United Healthcare, is shot dead in front of his New York City hotel in Midtown Manhattan. 5 days later, in Pennsylvania, Luigi Mangione shouts at the press, "It is completely out of touch and an insult to the intelligence of the American people and their lived experience."
Completely out of touch and it's an insult to the intelligence of the American people and its lived experience.
This is what he screams before the police push him up against a brick wall to silence him, and they force him inside the courthouse. He is then charged with crimes related to the death of United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson. From Pennsylvania, Luigi Mangione is shipped out to New York, where he is once again arraigned for charges in connection with the death of United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson. Then he's taken basically down the street to another courthouse, to the federal courthouse in New York City, where he is, for a third time, arraigned for the death of United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson. As we speak, Luigi Mangione faces 3 separate trials and charges for the events that allegedly he contributed to December of 2024. And
Golly.
it feels like all 3
Damn,
jurisdictions
that was last
are
year?
more or less in some sort of pissing contest to be the ones to take down 27-year-old Luigi Mangione. He has charges in Pennsylvania, which include forgery, carrying a firearm without a license, tampering with records of identification, possessing instruments of crime, and giving a false ID to an officer.
Ooh.
Then in New York State Court, he has a total of 11 charges.
Ooh.
Murder in the first degree in furtherance of an act of terrorism, murder in the second degree as a crime of terrorism, and murder in the second degree with a non-terrorism charge, along with 4 counts of third-degree criminal possession of a weapon, 2 counts of second-degree criminal possession of a weapon, and another fourth-degree criminal possession of a weapon, and 1 count of
Wow.
second-degree criminal possession of a forged instrument, punishable up to 7 years. Then, federally, he is now facing another 4 charges for murder through the use
Goddamn.
of a firearm, stalking, resulting in death, and the use and possession of a firearm in relation to a violent crime, and interstate transportation of firearms and ammunition with intent to commit a felony.
Holy
Luigi's
shit.
top charges in the federal courts is punishable by the death penalty.
Right? I tried death penalty cases throughout my career. If there was ever a death case, this is one. This guy's charged with a violent crime, and we're going to seek the death penalty whenever possible.
The federal government is seeking capital punishment against Luigi Mangione. I will say that these charges are probably the more controversial parts of his case that's pending. A lot of people take issue with the terrorism charges in particular. People can sit and argue with each other all day long until the sun goes down about whether or not his alleged crime, if has been committed by Luigi, can be justified by the abysmal state of healthcare in the United States. That's just a debate. I don't really think you can convince one person or the other. If one person is so firm on it doesn't matter, breaking the law is breaking the law, and that will never be okay, I don't think that there is a way to even get them to see another perspective or vice versa. I just don't think it's possible. But I will say that across the board, people do have a problem with the fact that he has been charged with terrorism in New York State Court. I think the most perplexing part of this is most school shooters do not even face terrorism charges or even capital punishment, the death penalty. Some people argue it's a jurisdictional thing, but a lot of people say, no, it's not. It's, again, very subjective. And yet, Luigi Mangione is going up against 3 different court systems, 3 different sets of prosecutors, 3 different jurisdictions, and his defense team, all of whom we will dive deeper into once the trial begins, but we do have some familiar faces. His main lead attorneys on his cases in New York State and federal court are the Agnifilos, Karen Agnifilo and her husband, Mark Agnifilo, who also happen to be Sean Combs' lead defense counsel. They're coming in swinging.
Shit.
In each one of these court
Excuse me.
cases, they are arguing against these simultaneous trials. Side note,
Well, okay.
double jeopardy is a huge
I
thing
don't
in
know
the
if you wanna
United
pause
States,
this or
which
not,
is
'cause
the
Yeah, hold on,
unlawful
There you go. Go ahead, ma'am.
I honest to God, so you know how she said like even school shooters never got the acts of terrorism.
Yeah.
I think that at least from how I thought acts of terrorism was, or like terrorism in general, was if you were to hurt multiple people. Like
Yeah.
9/11 was obviously a terrorist thing. I
Mhm.
think the bombing, that marathon bombing
Yeah.
in I think Boston.
Boston, yeah.
Yeah. That was also like an act of terrorism. So
Terrorism,
I
yeah.
thought it include casualties of multiple people, not just one. But I'm also wondering if it's because he supposedly I don't has there ever been evidence that he killed the guy other than like camera evidence?
I don't think so.
Cuz a lot of people were saying too that like that wasn't even Luigi in the camera.
Mm.
But again, I'm not 100% sure, but like
Yeah.
I don't know if it would be considered like acts of terrorism because wouldn't it be
I think it's
the
just like
reason why it's
normal violence. Like not
that's what
terrorism.
I was thinking too because wouldn't terrorism be like, oh, you're trying to cause fear in the I'm going to say the United States, like
Yeah.
the US citizens, you're causing fear. That's what like 9/11 was, and that was
Mhm.
the Boston Marathon bombing, and
Yeah,
I'm sure
fear.
there was others that I'm not mentioning. Um like isn't that the case? Is to instill fear into the
Yeah.
US citizens? I don't think you can just you heard Uncle in the back. I don't know if you did, but I don't know if that would be considered a terrorist attack because when he killed that CEO, a lot of people were like, "Yeah, he deserved it."
Yeah. I feel like because he
So,
said America people, that's why they're
mhm,
labeling it
maybe,
terrorism.
yeah.
prosecution of a person twice for the same offense. There's a lot of legal debate about this. A lot of people in the legal field say technically it's not double jeopardy because he hasn't been prosecuted for a crime. So it's not like he's been tried, convicted, and then we're going to retry him. It's just simultaneously all of these court cases are actively pending. Karen Agnifilo, the lead defense attorney, she says the prosecutors, quote, they're trying to get two bites
Excuse
at
me,
the
oh my
apple
God.
to convict Mr. Mangione. As a result of unprecedented prosecutorial one-upmanship, Mr. Mangione now faces 3 simultaneous prosecutions in 3 different jurisdictions, one of which is seeking the death penalty, while another is seeking life imprisonment, all for one set of facts. She has continued to call out police who, quote, methodically and purposefully trample on Luigi Mangione's constitutional rights. And there has just been so much argument about whether the terrorism charges are warranted, whether capital punishment is warranted, whether or not it's double jeopardy to have all 3 cases pending at the same time, which also means it's much harder for his legal defense team to focus down on one case specifically. It's a lot of legal loopholes that they have to jump through nonstop. We're going to be attending Luigi Mangione's
Wait,
New York State hearing
I'm gonna
September
say not a
16th.
PSA, but before we go too far into it, if you hear a man screaming in the background, that is my stepdad. If you hear that he's cursing at the dogs, he does that all the time. He doesn't mean it in a mean, violent way. And like if you hear thumping too, that's literally him just playing with the dogs. Cause Jax, he's a when you say like, oh yeah, he's a boy dog, he plays rough. Jax is literally he's a rough playing dog. But also another thing is that he's going through his terrible twos right now.
He's not even 2 yet.
I know, and he's going through it.
Damn.
He'll be 2 in December. Can you believe that?
I know, it's crazy.
Yeah, but because of the whole Hassan thing going on right now, I don't know if anyone's
Yeah.
gonna fucking hear this, but I'm gonna say it straight right now. He is not saying he's not abusing my dogs. You know, my dogs are very well loved by him. Um, he also just has a really loud voice.
Yeah.
Yeah, like Anjanette knows she lived with us.
Yep.
Uncle can't be quiet unless he's in a he's with people that he does not know
No, or
or does
really
not
like,
feel comfortable.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, you can hear him. He'll say, "Stupid dog, go to sleep." Who pooped in a room? Who peed in the apartment? Like that. The dogs literally will just hear that. Like they know with him specifically, because you know when you go to a dog and you're playing, you're like, "Oh my," like the cute baby voice.
Yeah.
No, he's yelling, and the dogs know he's fucking around. Like
Yeah, it's endearing. It's not like punishment. It's just like,
yeah,
hey, but you know.
yeah. And the thing is that brother, he's recently like banging on shit again, not like an abusive or scary way. It's just that it pisses mom off. But he's been banging on shit for a while.
Mm.
I don't know, Anjanette, I think he like for you, I think he only bangs when it's like mom's room or something. Whenever it's like our at the time our bathroom, he's very quiet. Like
Yeah.
he doesn't want us to know that he's using it.
Yeah, it's true.
So yeah, just like a not I don't know if it's a PSA or a warning or whatever, but yeah.
Yeah.
New York City. This hearing is important for a variety of different reasons. There are a few things that are going to be discussed during this hearing that's going to be important, such as the terrorism charges. There is HIPAA violations that have been alleged where prosecutors have allegedly done some shady try and get some medical records that they were not supposed to be privy to. So all of that's going to be
Ooh.
covered in the hearing, hopefully. And this video is also going to be different in the sense of a lot of people have been asking for vlogs. I know some of you guys are probably new to Rotten Mango, but we used to vlog, like I used to vlog my personal life back then, and I've since kind of stopped because all I do is work on cases, and I didn't think that would be very riveting. But at the same time, people have been asking for a lot of the behind the scenes footage or information on how we work on our episodes. So this is kind of a combination of both. It's going to be a completely different
Ooh.
video format than a
Ooh.
regular Rotten Mango episode. So instead of just attending the hearing and then coming back to tell you about it, which is similar to how we've covered like the Sean Combs case, even during that, a lot of you guys have been asking, show us more about what's happening in real time at the courthouse as it's occurring. And so that is kind of what we're trying to do here. It's definitely a newer type of video, and we just want to show you what happens more behind the scenes. Hopefully it's insightful. If not, just let me know. But I do think that for this case, it could be very important because it seems like a lot of people that are actively covering the case that are, I mean, I think leagues ahead of my expertise, or even just they're people that are actively trying to talk about all of the key elements in this case. A lot of them have been getting censored. A lot of maybe the behind the scenes of like how people are digging into this case has been, it's just been getting weird. So I'm going to take you guys to New York,
The
and we're
government.
going to go to
The
the hearing
government.
together.
Does anyone have the press passes?
Yes.
I was supposed to go through all of the court documents last night, maybe even the day before, but I was working on a different case and I got like 300 pages of the court document, and then all of a sudden they just dropped 2,000 pages last minute, so I had to go through that.
So what are we looking at?
It's not that bad. So this is a
The
compilation
only way
of
Anjanette would
some
read
news articles,
2,000
but mainly,
pages
like,
if it's
the,
AO3.
cases. So we have
Yeah.
Pennsylvania, New York, federal. Not a lot of case files so far. I don't know if it's good or bad, but I guess good for me since I don't have a lot of time.
And Hawaii.
Oh yeah, and there's something from Hawaii.
What's going on in Hawaii?
It's just one page
Okay.
from 2023.
Oh, there's a case in Hawaii, or?
Violated a trail thing because sometimes they have like off-limit trails because it's so dangerous. People will die.
Oh, is that where you took the picture?
It's possible. The photo looks like it's like
From one of those
Yeah.
trails. I saw people going on TikTok and going
What the
to
fuck are
that
those
exact
glasses?
spot to take the photo where
Wait,
Luigi
yes,
took the
It's
photo.
it's they say it
helps with like motion
Luigi
sickness.
pilgrimage.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, he got in trouble
I
for
should-
that.
I don't know if it's
I
that
should buy
exact
that for
type,
myself
but-
because I want to read in the
Oh.
car,
Hey, did we email?
but I can't because I get
Thomas
motion
Dickey?
sickness.
Yeah.
You can look on this table, and here's all the evidence I have right here, guys. Zoom in. I suppose you want to. Nothing. I've seen nothing. I have nothing.
And both have nipples.
Nothing yet?
He's a young man, and he is being treated like a human ping pong ball between two warring jurisdictions here.
What did you say?
There's his signature.
That's his handwriting?
Oh no, Mark. It's Mark.
Oh, yeah.
It's Mark's signature.
I thought he just got brought on.
This is from
2024.
I think he's been on, but we only ever cared about Karen until we saw Mark in action.
Oh, yeah, he was in all the previous
Yeah.
hearings.
But I think
Mark.
But he was focused on Diddy's case, so.
yeah. A human law enforcement wall. Council received 7 terabytes of discovery, including body cam footage and other videos.
We just landed in New York, and apparently the police has stopped by, just asking like what's going on to our lines.
Basically, people have problems with, well, like the first problem that people have is that he's being charged in Pennsylvania, New York, and then the federal case, SDNY. So, and it's technically all for the murder of Brian Thompson. And so people are saying, like, for a person killing another person, allegedly, you just don't really have cases where it's tried in 3 different jurisdictions. I mean, technically you can, legally it is allowed, but it just doesn't happen. So, like, that's the first thing. And New York State, the state case wants to go before the federal case. And then they're literally all fighting for Luigi. The state, they want to try their case before the feds. And they're adamant on it. And Luigi's defense is like, well, you can't because we're literally trying to fight a capital case, like capital punishment. Like, they want the freaking death penalty. That's the most important thing right now.
Wait, can you explain the 3 charges real quick?
Yes. Okay. So in
3 states.
Pennsylvania, he's got that's where he was apprehended is in the McDonald's in Altoona, Pennsylvania, with the Altoona police. Those are it's like forgery, his fake license. Remember, he had the fake license, the weapons. It's like all these little. I don't want to say small, but they're definitely smaller charges in Pennsylvania.
How long is he looking at there? Do we know? Like based on the charges? Not.
I mean, I don't think it really matters.
Oh, that's true.
7
These are
years.
like, the kind of like the smaller charges.
Yeah.
Then he gets extradited. Well, he doesn't get extradited. He waives extradition. He goes to New York. So New York State, NYPD, they do the perp walk. NYPD, they charge him with murder. And they're like, okay, and also terrorism. So they have the New York State case, which is the hearing that we're going to tomorrow. And then after that, the feds indict him. So now he's got the Pennsylvania case, New York State case, which are more serious charges. You've got murder, terrorism, you've got like all the weapons charges. And then the federal case, murder, that's capital punishment. That's what they're seeking, is the death penalty. So this is where it gets really crazy. They're all fighting for him right now. New York State, they want to try their case first. Karen Agnifilo and the whole defense team, they're like, no, you can't because the feds are literally trying to kill my client. So no, that should be the most important thing. The feds case has to go first. And the state is like, no. And then Pennsylvania is like, hello, don't forget about us. We need Luigi for a hearing in November. So Luigi's attorney, Thomas Dickey, he is only representing him in the Pennsylvania case. They're like, no, Luigi's not going to show up on Zoom. He's not going to do a video conference because, like, we're not doing this with you guys. Pennsylvania is like, well, you better. And his attorney is like, no, you can't make us. If you want Luigi, you got to get him in person. So the Pennsylvania.
Sorry, I'm laughing. This is like
That's crazy.
this is like the perfect way of showing like the American system. Like no one talks to each other. There's no communication.
Mm-hmm.
Like she's right. It should be the federal, and then the
Yeah.
state. where he did it, and then Pennsylvania, because that's how he escaped.
Yeah.
Okay.
No. Another crazy thing too is that
Is it raining?
is it?
It's raining over here. Finally.
Yay! I think it's gonna move on to me tomorrow.
Yeah,
Because I
hear
think
it.
we get Cali weather.
Yeah. Okay. Continue.
No, I just think that it's crazy that they're trying to kill him.
Yeah.
Because other than video evidence, because a lot of people are saying too that doesn't look like Luigi, like this and that. At least from what I know, there's not much evidence, but they're just using him as an example to like, hey, don't fuck around with like the big guys, because I'm gonna say this now. The people who run America, I believe, are the banks, CEOs, and whatever government official out there is mainly like the president and stuff. So I think it's like that thing from the Bug's Life where the grasshoppers are taking control of the ants, but the grasshoppers are also scared because once the ants find out that hey, they outnumber the grasshoppers, then they're fucked.
Yeah.
Which is a lot of what Parisian citizens are like, why the fuck do you not just like overturn
overturn your country?
Just overturn the government. Like, bitch, we throw fires at buildings and our like government officials all the fucking time when something doesn't go our way.
Yep.
So why the fuck can't you do the same? And I, honest to God, I don't know why.
Well, there is that. What was it? January? Was it January something when Trump was in office or about to be in office?
Oh,
That
yeah.
whole Washington thingy. Was it Washington? Yeah.
I just think it's because the country is so divided that no one can actually be united and actually fight for what's right.
Yeah,
Like,
and
at this point, America's turning into a joke.
Yeah. No, whew. It's crazy. Yeah, it's like with the David case, remember how it was like, how come they haven't contacted CPS when you've been to the girl's family's house like 11 times for the police? Like, you say like, oh, we're gonna find her, but yeah, you found her too late. May she rest in
Brother,
peace.
I'm telling you right now, every day in America is just an episode of SNL.
At this point.
Anyway, before we get too political.
Yeah, let's continue.
DA is emailing Jay Clayton of the SDNY, the feds, and the feds are like, respectfully and unrespectfully and disrespectfully, fuck off. They're like, no, you're not getting Luigi.
What do you mean?
Oh, let me get the email. Pennsylvania just wants him for a hearing.
They won't take a Zoom.
Luigi's team does not want to take a Zoom, and I totally get why they don't want to.
Luigi's team just want them to hold off.
No, Luigi's team is saying, like, we have 3 different jurisdictions in a pissing contest for our client, and, like, they're literally playing with our client's life. Just so that they can say what? That they're, you know?
Yeah.
So they're saying, if you want him, come get him, and they're all just, like, fighting for Luigi. But this email is actually insane. Let me find this email. Dear Mr. Weeks, which is the Blair County DA in Pennsylvania, as we discussed, the United States Attorney's Office for the Southern District of New York respectfully declines to authorize the physical return of defendant Luigi Mangione to your jurisdiction while the federal criminal charges in U.S. v. Mangione are pending. The United States intends to keep custody of the defendant until the conclusion of the federal prosecution, including sentencing. Accordingly, our office will instruct the U.S. Marshals, because Pennsylvania was like, put in an order to the U.S. Marshals that we need him for the hearing. We're going to transport him back to Pennsylvania for the hearing, take care of him, and then bring him back to you. But now they're saying, accordingly, our office will instruct the U.S. Marshals not to honor any writ seeking to take custody of the defendants to appear in your jurisdiction. Yeah, basically saying, disrespectfully, no.
Wow.
The feds are like, we're not releasing him until after sentencing, which could literally be death.
Yes, and it's crazy because the federal cases, it's like a whole other thing. They're trying to push the trial for mid to late 2026. Luigi's defense is saying, hey, most capital punishment cases, they don't even start like the commencement of a trial for like 48 months. This is like
way too fast.
This is crazy. We don't have time to prepare for something like this. And then on top of that, there's so many problems. So that's just the federal case. That's the problem. Oh, there's other problems with the federal case. Who am I kidding? So in the federal case, they were monitoring his calls. At the MDC, there's two different phone lines that you can use, that inmates can use. So the first phone line is like an attorney phone line. They cannot record those phone conversations. It's literally just attorneys with the inmates. It's protected. Then you have the second, which is a regular phone line. I think inmates get like a certain number of minutes. They can call their friends, they can call their family. But a lot of inmates actually end up calling their attorneys through that line. I don't know. I feel like there's got to be a reason for it, whether it's easier, whether it's quicker to access your attorney, whether it's just like a less friction way. But it seems like lots of inmates talk to their attorneys there. Luigi is on a phone call with Karen Agnifilo, his lead attorney, and that is recorded. And one of the paralegals at the prosecution team, one of the prosecutor's paralegals, listened to a portion of it before they realized it was Karen Agnifilo.
But that's what they're saying.
That's what they're saying.
In quotes, right?
Yeah, and so they're saying, like, it's a mistake. And then they're also saying it's, like, kind of y'all's fault because why wasn't he using the attorney phone line? And, like, in the beginning of each phone call from this side, it tells you, like, all calls are going to be recorded. So, like, technically, it's y'all's fault. So that was, like, the whole mishap with the federal thing. Well, there's other mishaps, too, and it gets very political. It's the fact that it was, Luigi's defense team is saying this has become so political in the sense that it's not even really the justice system anymore, is kind of what they're saying in their, like, motions, is the Attorney General, Pam Bondi, who was appointed by Trump, she was the one that came out and said, we are going to seek the death penalty for Luigi Mangione. And she also did not give him any sort of presumption of innocence. Never said allegedly, never said we're going to get to the bottom of, like, why he did this, if he did this. Like, it was nothing like that. The wording was very strong.
If you think about it,
was incredibly...
How much blood was on that CEO's hands?
True. See what it's saying.
Because his company has killed a lot of people who need medical.
Oh, see, this is bull. Make America safe again. Bull.
My God. It's never been safe. The first people who were fucking murdered were the freaking Native Americans.
Yep.
America was never safe. This is literally a fucking blood country at this point.
Yeah, no wonder why we have so many ghosts and, entities around.
I need some of these ghosts to not be fucking racist and shit and start murdering people that actually need to be murdered.
In game,
passionate
In-game,
towards his assumption of guilt, which is not how the justice system works. She makes that statement, and then 2 weeks later, they're seeking capital punishment. Luigi's defense team is saying, like, how can we get a proper jury in here when even the Attorney General of the United States is not even giving our client the presumption of innocence until proven guilty?
Right.
So that's a whole issue with the federal case. Then the New York State case, the hearing that we're going to tomorrow, there's so many problems there. And I think that this is going to be probably the biggest problem that's going to be covered tomorrow, is what I'm thinking, but is the DA's office, Manhattan DA's office, they do a subpoena to Aetna Healthcare. They're like, hey, Aetna, Luigi was a client of yours. We need his member ID number, and we're going to need the time period that
That's
he was
my
under
insurance.
your care. Like, under your, I don't know if it's like insurance or whatever, under your care. They're like, we need it by May 23rd, 2025. And you need to give it to us by May 23rd, 2025, which is like a court proceeding date. Otherwise, you're going to be held in contempt of court. Yeah, criminal contempt of court, Aetna. And you might be fined up to like $100,000. Also, like, you can just mail it or deliver it. Also, here's the contact information. And they give the DA's office. So they're saying there's so many problems with that, the defense is saying. First of all, they bypass the court. Anytime that you're supposed to get these types of records, they actually are supposed to send it to the court. Not to the
Yeah, you need a
office.
warrant or something.
Yeah.
For it.
But they're like, hey, just contact the DA's office if you have questions. So they're just bypassing the court, going straight to the DA's office. Aetna is like, okay, here are the records. They give the records. What did the prosecutors ask for? Member ID and time period, right? They get back 120 pages. That sounds like a lot more than member ID and time period, right? However, the DA's office in Manhattan is like, let's just like take a look. Let's take a look.
Dumb. Oh
It's
my fucking
privileged medical.
120 pages. He's 27 years old. Make it make sense. You go what? Yearly for a checkup? Then you have your flu shots. Then you have, you know, all that stuff that you get when you're a baby. Oh, America.
Documents. It's literally HIPAA violation after HIPAA violation is what the defense is arguing. This is like statements Luigi Mangione has personally made to his doctors. It's medical diagnosis, all in this 120-page document, where at the very top of the first page of every freaking file, the first page of every file reads, request for protected health information. And so they're saying, why'd you guys go through it? Okay. Now the prosecutors, they realize this. They've already opened it up. One of the prosecutors has opened it up, scrolled through it, and then they're saying, oh, we just realized we're not supposed to be seeing this right now. Because, like, technically, this is HIPAA. Even if there's a criminal case pending, you cannot just, you have to get an order from the judge that's like, yeah, you can get the medical records, or you have to get consent from Luigi Mangione or whoever the defendant may be, which neither.
So why
of those
are they
things
not
has
in
happened.
jail?
So this is like, you
Or
cannot access
fined.
these files.
Or reprimanded
now,
of
the
some sort.
prosecution come out and they say, actually, this was Aetna's erroneously sent files. We asked member
The
ID
fuck?
and the time period. They sent us privileged information. Aetna is like, no. Aetna tells CNN, no. We gave what we were asked for. That's all we're saying. They're like, that's it. That's all we're saying. We gave what we were asked for. And then the prosecutors are also saying, hey, so Aetna fucked up. And then guess who fucked up again?
No, because if they're asking for timelines, they were secretly asking for all his shit.
Yep. Because how else would you know? Like, how else would you get the timelines if not the reasoning behind it? Like, that's usually, like, especially in receipts and stuff.
Yeah.
For just yourself.
Jesus. Okay.
Luigi's defense team, because they emailed us back the files. So, like, they resent the prosecutors the files. They were like, hey, I don't know, they're just accusing them of resending them the files. Now, Luigi's defense has now put in another response. This was in August, so like a month ago, right? And they're saying, first of all, you're so nonsensical. I mean, I will say that this letter is pretty scathing. They're like, you guys are so nonsensical. We responded to your email, and you fucking had the files attached.
Oh, they just hit reply.
We hit reply to be like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Why do you have this? We hit reply to be like, hello.
Wow.
And then they're like, what do you mean we have compounded the effect or like the erroneous errors? Because that's basically what they said in the prosecutor's response. So Luigi's defense is like, hello? And then they're also saying, but you know what's even crazier? First of all, they were really crazy in this email or this document. They're like, first of all, use common sense. You asked for his member ID.
You know why I think I like her so much?
Why?
Her and Shreya act the same way.
Dead ass, bro. Oh my god. I think that's why I like watching her, like, when she's not doing, like, a podcast when it's, like, sometimes, like, vlogs or just like this.
Yeah.
I'm like, bro, I can listen to her all day, and it's because I'm used to it. This is literally how my little sister acts.
No, like, she's doing, like, the hand gestures and everything. I'm like, this is Shreya.
Yeah.
This is Shreya.
Dude, if Shreya wasn't, like, shy... Because,
Yeah.
okay, I don't think she's shy, but I think she's, like, shy in the sense of, Like she just doesn't want to fight anymore. You know, like who the fuck wants to fight? Who wants to waste their time fighting, right? I feel like she would make such a good like lawyer or like defense attorney or something, like, or even a journalist.
Should be so good.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I have high hopes for both of my siblings.
Period.
And the term, you get 120 pages back. You don't even think about fucking HIPAA? That's what they're saying. And then the second thing that they're saying is, it's actually crazy because nothing was scheduled for May 23rd, 2025. So that subpoena that they made to Aetna, they're like, we need this for this court date, May 23rd, 2025. The defense is like, nothing was scheduled that day. So you made up a date to compel them to give you this information by said date. When that date, there was nothing on that date. That's all.
Wait,
So they lied.
That's insane.
Yeah, so I think the argument is going to be that, like, technically, I guess they just needed a date, like a deadline, but the defense is arguing, like, state code says that when you give a date for a subpoena, it's a designated, like, there is usually a court hearing or, like, something is happening on that date that they need those records. Like, you don't just, like, subpoena someone and you just say, you know what, let me just say 2 weeks from now. So that has been the main... I mean, there are other arguments, like the fact that this argument is going on in Pennsylvania and it's going on simultaneously across all of the different cases, but he was not read his Miranda rights immediately when they are arguing that it seemed like he was pretty much detained from the minute that the Altoona Police Department stepped into the McDonald's. They had like 7 to 8 different officers blocking his exit. Meanwhile, they're telling him he's free to go. They also searched his belongings without having the proper search warrant. Now, the Altoona Police Department, they are arguing, and, oh, this is interesting, body cam footage. We don't have the body cam footage, but obviously the defense has it because it's in discovery, and they were saying in another motion that was filed that the body cam footage depicts Altoona Police Department going through his backpack. And they're saying that they did not have like the proper search warrant for this. Like, this is protected in his 4th Amendment rights. Like, you can't just search people's stuff. And at the point, they point out that the police officer who's going through his belongings notices, and it seems like they're hinting at, like, okay, the vibe that they're hinting at is she's going through his backpack. And it's like, fuck, I shouldn't be going through his backpack. So then she says, I just got to make sure there's not a bomb in here. She says something along those lines.
Wow.
And the defense team is saying, you knew what you were doing when you said that, because if you genuinely thought that there was a bomb, you would have vacated the premises, the civilians, like, you would have secured everything, you would have called in a bomb squad, like,
dogs and everything.
Technically, an officer isn't supposed to, like, deal with a bomb. It's supposed to be a bomb squad, because you run the risk of... you run the risk of A, killing yourself, B, hurting others around you, and just like you don't know what kind of bomb it is. You do not have that knowledge as an officer. You need a fucking bomb squad, someone who literally, like, their job is to know all this fucking shit. So I hope that officer got fired, because if they said that out loud, right? So even if it wasn't like, if they said that out loud, that, oh, let me check if there's a bomb in here. If I was like the captain, either immediate termination or suspension, because you risked the lives of yourself, your officers, and civilians around you. You did not follow fucking protocol.
Wasn't he just chilling in the McDonald's though?
He was. I think he was flirting with one of the McDonald's employees.
Hey, you do you.
Like, just kill the CEO, let me get a girl.
Yeah.
Literally every single dark romance book I've read.
You know.
Proper search, but the fact that you even said that makes it even more sus. Okay, that's like obviously not the legal way of saying it, but I'm just like informing you what's happening. And then there's problems with the terrorism charge. Like, lots of back and forth with the terrorism charge, unless it's like jury nullification.
You want to explain what jury nullification means?
Yeah, jury nullification, to put it simply, because I do feel like it's a very sensitive topic that is heavily monitored these days, but Jury nullification is when the jury gets together and, to put it simply and casually, they say, hey, you know, I know, your brother knows. He did the damn thing.
Wait, I gotta read. Jury nullification is where a jury delivers a not guilty verdict even though they believe the defendant is factually guilty under the law, because the jurors think the law itself is unjust or that applying it in the case would lead to an unjust or unfair outcome. You know what? I agree. And continue.
It's a crime. But we refuse to.
Reddit says, this is one of the most controversial and beautiful areas of criminal law. I can't do your question justice with a response. Generally, you can't talk about it.
What? Oh, yeah, I think, you can't talk about it, as in, I don't think it's ever included in any of the court's orders
Right, it's
when they
not
talk to
on
the jury.
record.
Yes, so that's why a lot of people in New York are getting, like, jury nullification, educate yourself on jury nullification billboards, without even putting Luigi's name on there, because they just want anyone in this jurisdiction to understand jury nullification and to see it as an option. Because when you get to the courtroom, they're not going to say at the very end, here are the jury instructions.
See, jury nullification is not an official part of legal procedure, and judges do not instruct juries about it, but is a power that comes from the jury's independence and the protection against being punished for their verdict. Bro, this is what they need to be teaching us in high school.
No, for real. Like, it's not that you're supposed to take a specific class to learn about this. I think you need to learn about the government, about your laws and stuff. Like, I think for our high school, we went over it briefly, like what the amendments are and stuff like that. Like,
Yeah.
I feel like we barely touched the surface.
Yeah. Because everyone just wants us to memorize dates and people and, like, back then, but, like,
Yeah.
guys, like, technology.
Like, give us a reason.
Technology is getting more bigger and better or badder, depending on your point of view on, like, AI and everything like that.
Here are your options. Oh, by the way, did you know about jury nullification? It's just part, probably, of the legal code. So, and then another problem is with the Fed case, since we're talking about jury nullification, is that Pam Bondi, the Attorney General, was appointed by Trump. Jay Clayton, the attorney for the SCNY, he was also elected by Trump, if I'm not mistaken. So it just seems like there's a lot of political connections. And then if you know anything about the Agnifilo family, they're very politically active as well, to be obviously on the very opposite side of Trump. Karen Agnifilo does segments on Midas Touch. It's a network, a political network, very famously opposing Trump. So there's lots of, like, there's so many layers of stuff going on in this one. But there is, I gotta find the part with the body cam. Oh, okay. And then also, the terrorism charges. The way that the prosecutors are saying it's terrorism, the defense is saying strange. They're saying that one of the basis of the terrorism charge is the prosecutors are arguing that it happened in the middle of Manhattan, Midtown Manhattan. If you look from the CCTV footage, there's a woman merely a few feet away from where Brian Thompson was standing, and so it's grave risk to the human population, essentially. But what the defense is saying, then any murder that happens on any street of Manhattan should be a terrorism charge.
Yeah.
But it's not, so why this one? And they're also saying that for the Brian Thompson case, because they're saying that Brian Thompson, having him be killed in broad daylight is to incite violence for his own, like, ideological views and to try to get society and an industry to behave in a certain way through the threats of violence, which is terrorism. Karen Agnifilo is just saying, like, when did he ever say that? So first of all, that manifesto that everyone's calling a manifesto, Luigi's defense team is saying the police are the ones that called it a manifesto. It's not titled manifesto. Luigi didn't say, this is my manifesto. And, like, technically there is a definition for manifesto, and it might fit that, like, Webster's definition for it. But she's saying when he was arrested, he was not inciting violence. By you guys releasing his manifesto, it instilled fear in people. Like, you guys are the one technically making people have big emotional reactions.
You
Because
guys,
you're
you
releasing-
guys should be charged.
Yeah, like, more or less, that's what she's saying, right? Okay, so there was a journalist who released it personally, right?
Uh-huh.
On a blog, Substack, I think it was a Substack. And it was... Yeah, Ken. But it was unconfirmed. And so a lot of people were saying, well, we don't really know if these are his writings. And it was just kind of up in the air. The police are like, yeah, it's his writings. Here's his manifesto. We're going to count beans at a bean conference, like all of that jazz.
Bruh.
And so Karen Agnifilo is saying, like, you guys are the one that are publicly releasing these things. And you guys are the one causing the greater society to have a reaction. It's not my client that's doing it. It's you guys that are doing it.
Yeah, yeah.
And also, she's saying you shouldn't have even been searching his backpack. So this is the backpack part, which I thought was very interesting. Oh, there's another very interesting part. I don't know who's, I mean, it's Karen writing these. Listen, not to compare, but I was, we were reading so many different court documents and letters from attorneys for the Sean Combs case. And every time they would write a letter, it was just like, what? That's a crazy letter. These, like, it's so...
Well written?
Not even just well written, like, the amount of passion that they have. Like, the way that they're coming out swinging at the prosecutors is very intense.
Really?
The, Jay Clayton was recused from Luigi Mangioni's case.
Why was he
He
recused
is
again?
the Attorney General, or he's the attorney, U.S. attorney for SDNY.
Yeah. Do you remember for Sean Combs, it was all of the women's names for the prosecution, and then always at the bottom,
Jay
it was
Clayton.
Jay Clayton.
Yeah.
Like, where is he?
Wait, what?
Where is this man? Never saw him a day in that courtroom.
Yeah.
Because they always have to sign with, like, the DA of the area or, like, the U.S. attorney of that area.
It's a bathroom, but I'm going to
Oh.
switch
Like,
you
you
over
know, all the
to
ones
my phone.
doing-
Like
Like
Comey.
Maureen Comey, who is now suing. Yeah, she's suing because she... Okay,
You
so...
want to give people some updates?
Yes, an update that I was genuinely perplexed about. Maureen Comey was let go from the SDNY, and you guys know that. Okay, Maureen Comey was like the lead prosecutor for the Sean Combs case for SDNY, for the Fed case. And she was, listen, like her dad is James Comey, former FBI director, notorious enemy of Trump. I will say, I don't care what you say about her dad. Maureen Comey, seeing her in action, like, there was nothing like it. She is so intelligent. She is so quick on her feet. I know people are, like, dogging on her online because Sean Combs did not get the sentencing or the verdict that people wanted, or mainly the verdict that people wanted. But she is just, I don't know, she's whip smart. She's so intelligent. And she was let go from SDNY. And apparently, according to her lawsuit, they didn't give her a reason. She said Jay Clayton did not give her a reason and basically told her, it's from Washington. It's out of my hands.
Oh!
And so she's suing them for back pay, legal fees, and she said, I want my fucking job back too.
But now Jay is gone.
Well,
Oh no, just
that's not
recused
fine.
from the case.
Yeah,
Got
he's
it.
recused
Sorry.
from the Luigi case.
Wow.
Is there a reason why he's recused?
Right.
Oh, is it because of the...
I think it's the phone
Oh,
calls.
I gotta read. Jay Clayton was recused from Luigi. I can't say his last name for my sake. Case because the U.S. Attorney's Office for the Southern District of New York informed the court he is recused. But they did not publicly explain why. Perry Carbone, the district's criminal division chief, took over the case instead. I need to search up what recuse means. I'm getting the context, but I need the context clues. Recused. Recuse, challenge a judge, prosecutor, or jury as unqualified to perform legal duties because of a potential conflict of interest or lack of impartiality. Okay. Now that makes sense. I mean, just saying M should be fine for his last name. Yeah, Luigi M. But my brain's gonna be like, oh yeah. Continue.
Really? That's it?
If I'm not mistaken, no. Oh, hold on. I think it's because we read so many court documents for all these cases.
Mm-hmm.
And I am by no means, I know nothing about law, which is reading, as like someone who's reading court documents for these cases, just when certain people just know how to write one, this is about the terrorism charge, and Karen Agnifilo is arguing that he's not inciting violence, he's not trying to change an industry. In fact, Mr. Mangione never stated anything publicly, released anything publicly, or expressed anything online to suggest that this was his intention. Law enforcement, prosecutors, and the mayor of New York City are solely responsible for the very fear they are now attempting to attribute to Mr. Mangione. And this is talking about how they're trying to attribute the NFL headquarters incident to Luigi. Mr. Mangione is no more responsible for the actions of Mr. Tamura or any other alleged killer whose actions followed his arrest than the president is responsible for the alleged mishandling of classified documents by those who served with him, before him, or after him.
Oh. Oh.
My gosh.
Wait, and the Agnifilo's daughter is a paralegal as well.
I
so
know.
It could be her writing this.
It could be. So there is more about the terrorism charges. Okay, so the defense is just saying that the government, for the terrorism charges, they have to say these are the elements that require for it to be terrorism, right?
Yeah.
And so the first one was the aggravating factors are substantial planning and premeditation. Because they're saying that he stalked Brian Thompson for weeks and months leading up to the murder. But I feel like that could apply to a lot of different cases, but what do I know? And then also grave risk of death to additional persons because there was a woman nearby. It was in the middle of Manhattan. And
That's a weird one.
yeah,
Okay.
and then 3 non-statutory aggravating factors, such as victim impact, selection of site for an act of violence. The prosecutors were citing the fact that he wanted to kill Brian Thompson allegedly at a bean counting conference, right? And then future dangerousness. So the defense, they go all out fighting these different aggravating factors. So for one, they're saying that him attempting to evade law enforcement and flee New York City with his ghost gun is future dangerousness. And they say, what relevance does that have to proving future dangerousness? Does the government contend that any alleged murderer who flees the scene of the crime with the alleged murder weapon presents a future danger that it warrants the imposition of the death penalty? If not, what facts make Mr. Mangione's alleged flight unique, such that he presents a future danger so great that he deserves the death penalty? Then the defense just goes in on the Attorney General, Pam Bondi. And I just think, listen, I think there's so many layers to this case, but the way that they go after Pam Bondi is so fascinating, and I just feel like there's already blood, like bad blood between them, because obviously, like I said, they're just very opposing in terms of political views. But they even put in Pam Bondi's Instagram post, because she made an Instagram post calling for the death penalty for Luigi Mangione. And they say that Pam Bondi, the basis that she believes there should be capital punishment is 1, her past history as a capital crimes prosecutor, 2, that if there ever was a death penalty case, this is 1, and 3, that she herself has been threatened because of this case, and 4, that a reason for seeking the death penalty is that the victim was a CEO, and 5, that Mangione is guilty, and 6, that Mangione committed 2 statutory aggravating factors and should be executed. They say the stakes could not be higher. The United States government intends to kill Mr. Mangione as a political stunt. The Attorney General compounded this prejudice by appearing on television on Sunday, April 6, 2025, and stating that she has received death threats for seeking the death penalty.
Right, I tried death penalty cases throughout my career. If there was ever a death case, this is one. This guy is charged with hunting down a CEO, a father of 2, a married man, hunting him down and executing him. Yeah, I feel like these young people have lost their way. I was receiving death threats for seeking the death penalty on someone who is charged with an execution of a CEO.
Bro, why are you laughing?
This guy's charged with a violent crime, and we're going to seek the death penalty whenever possible.
So they're saying, like, she has not given their client presumption of innocence, and now she's making it worse by saying that I'm getting death threats for saying that we need to seek the death penalty. And then as for Pam Bondi saying that the victim was a CEO and that is one of the factors of why there should be capital punishment, The filing reads, the Attorney General stated during her television appearance that a reason she ordered the death penalty sentence was because the alleged victim was a CEO. Counsel is aware of no provision in the death penalty statute or in the Department of Justice's death penalty protocol that allows for consideration of the social, economic, or professional status of an alleged homicide victim in determining whether to seek the death penalty. The drama, right? The prosecutors are arguing, this is like the whole thing with the backpack search, the Fourth Amendment rights at the McDonald's, which I do feel like Fourth Amendment rights are just like the first rights that every single attorney has to argue in any sort of criminal case, which is like, you weren't supposed to search any of my belongings. Now, the number one problem is the prosecutors are saying that when the Altoona police arrived, they already had his fake ID. So he had already given his fake ID. So at that point, technically, like, they're allowed to search his stuff, right? But this is the defense. The fact that they believed that Mr. Mangione was the person wanted for murder does not change the analysis, nor provide the necessary exigency to overcome this fatal police error. First, the shooting happened 5 days earlier, and the police had no reason to believe that the alleged shooter was still armed. Second, even if the police had reason to believe he may be armed, any exigency disappeared after Patrolman Detweiler frisked Mr. Mangione for weapons, moved the bag 6 feet away, and had armed officers strategically placed between Mr. Mangione and the backpack. The exigency was certainly removed once Mr. Mangione was handcuffed and surrounded by officers, which they continue on the next page. They say, while Patrolman Wasser claimed that she was searching the backpack to make sure there was no bomb inside, this excuse did not reflect any legitimate exigency. First, nothing about the alleged shooting in New York or law enforcement's interactions with Mr. Mangione in the McDonald's provided a reasonable basis to believe that there was a bomb in the backpack. Second, the patrolwoman did not make this claim until after she had already been searching through the backpack and after she recovered a loaded magazine. Tellingly, she stopped searching the backpack at the McDonald's once she recovered the loaded magazine. If one were legitimately concerned about a bomb, one would have either continued searching right then and there or cleared the McDonald's and have called in and waited for the bomb squad to arrive before searching the bag, neither of which occurred. Certainly, one would not have continued searching the bag in a McDonald's filled with officers, employees, and customers, or put the bag in their car to transport the potential bomb to the precinct. They're going off. I don't know if any of it's gonna work.
Breach.
But they're saying it all. This is not the first time a prosecutor's office has tried to fit the square peg of murder into the round hole of terrorism. Yeah.
Damn.
Oh, this is also interesting, though. The people
That's what I
stated
said,
reason
yeah.
for not turning over discovery and for at some unknown future time seeking a protective order is that Mr. Mangione is somehow responsible for, quote, harassment, backlash, and death threats to certain people. So they're saying there's no evidence of that, but on December 9th, 2024, when he was arrested, among the first words out of Mr. Mangione's mouth was an apology and a concern for the very McDonald's employee who they are saying now is receiving threats. Quoting from their notice, quote, I apologize for the inconvenience of the day, followed by, they aren't going to put the cashier from McDonald's information out there, are they? It wouldn't be good for her. A lot of people will be upset I was arrested.
Wow.
This is the very opposite of someone who is seeking to terrorize anyone or wishing harm or violence to anyone, is what they're saying. Also, like, there was a whole thing because they found notes in his socks.
What exactly happened there?
Yeah, the defense, they put notes in the socks. Well, like, there was notes in his socks.
Who put it in there?
The note was written by the Free Luigi Reddit thread.
But we don't know who put it in the socks.
How did they get into his socks?
I don't know, but it was like a heart-shaped pink letter, and it was like a letter of support. I have no idea how it got in their sock.
And when was it in his sock? When he was arrested?
No, like when he had to change for a court hearing.
Someone slipped it into his sock.
Yeah, or like it could have been like an honest mistake.
It's
So this is the part where she's saying, like, the journal that they're calling his manifesto, we have never been provided copies. They had actors playing Luigi on television. It doesn't sound anything like him anyway. So, they're talking about the HBO thing.
This week on HBO, in a documentary, I see the chief of detectives and the New York City mayor, full hair and makeup done, sitting down and giving an interview for television and talking about the evidence in Luigi's case, talking about police paperwork that we don't have, talking about forensics that we have not yet received. I guess we have now
Damn.
today, but I didn't when I was sitting there learning about the case, hearing an actor play Luigi reading from a journal that they say is Luigi's, and we have yet to receive it from the prosecution.
Yeah, because the New York City mayor and NYPD, they sat down with HBO, and she was like, Eric Adams be going through hair and makeup.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yes, I've seen that.
Yeah.
This guy showed up last time.
Yes. They say he's a conservative activist, so is this just like the calm before the storm? Because everyone on our team that's there right now at the courthouse at T-minus like 12 hours, they're saying it's fine, it's chill.
My name is Jarvaland. People don't really understand what goes on unless you have like a sensational enough trial that it gets televised or it gets meticulously documented, but that's not the case for the most part. I have an obsession with trying to document trials meticulously.
I like round mangoes.
Amazing! What's your name again? Abril. It's like April, but in Spanish. Tomorrow we have death penalty action coming, and they just announced their like collaboration with Luigi's Bookshop, which is basically, instead of buying on Amazon, you can buy on bookshop.org, and part of the proceeds go to his cases.
My name is Lena. I'm from Los Angeles, and this is a book I just brought to read in line called Health Communism.
Shooting death of United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson. Alice Gaynor covers court. She'll be at tomorrow's hearing. Alice, what are you hearing about what we can expect? So there's a
Okay, so we're in front of the courthouse. The press line is across the street. You have all of the news stations. I feel like I didn't vlog at all during the Sean Combs case because we weren't allowed to even bring our phones into the courtroom. You had to check them, so I would never even bring it. But this is the news stations, and then you've got the whole public line set up over there.
Okay, that's the video I saw on TikTok of her being in line. Damn, just to be that close, that's crazy. Oh, I get. The judge dismissed 2 terrorism-related murder charges, second-degree murder charge, and other weapon-related charges remain. Sketch artist did him dirty, yeah. Oh, wow. Damn. $30,000. $30. Ha! Ha! What does it say? The case is likely politicized, makes me highly doubtful of any claimful evidence in pursuit of capital punishment. Capital punishment would be personally and strongly tilt me in favor of defense. The motives are suspect and due process lacking. No, for once, I'm leaning on the defense. This whole thing is sketchy. It's all. Damn. Do you know how expensive those are? Those are expensive. Bro, whoever's marketing, I give it to you.
Almost every single.
Not him on chases. You know what? That go crazy, that go hard. Ooh, I want to read this. They're saying Luigi is inspiring violence when our government is bankrolling the terrorist regimen's genocide in Gaza. Oh, Jeannie, I don't know if you heard about this, but someone, I don't know, it was some, I don't remember. I seen it on TikTok, but like it was someone who was like Catholic was saying that they go for the death penalty, but not for abortion. And I was like thinking about it. I was like, huh? You're saying what now? And like even the Pope.
I just got back. What happened?
Okay, so as I was saying, that like
Mhm.
someone Catholic, I think it was someone political, was saying that, or just a random civilian was like, "Oh, I'm all good, you know, with the death penalty, but not abortion." And the Pope was just like hearing this, and he's like, you know, that's not very pro-life of you, you know, like that's not what we go for. Like the death penalty is still death, and you're saying you're going for it, but you're going against your values.
Yeah, okay, here's the thing, right? If I was pro-life, right?
Yes.
I wouldn't even go for death penalty because wouldn't like an abortion technically be a death penalty if you're thinking it that way? If you're pro-life?
Yeah.
Like I'm pro-choice, but
this is
if
how
you're-
I say it. I'm pro-life, and to the way that people still need to be alive no matter what, like health wise, mentally, physically, psychologically.
Yeah.
But it's mostly
Jax is under. Jax is under my desk eating the potato chips that I dropped.
Oh.
They're sweet potatoes, so they're healthy for him.
Oh, okay. But yeah, that's what like my brain was like, kind of thinking like, don't choose one when you're not like fully even there. Like
Yeah.
Like basically you're being pro-choice and not being pro-life at that point. Okay, continuing.
Stop denying! People are dying! Stop denying! People are dying! Stop denying! People are dying! People have to die! Stop denial! Could they die? How many people have to die? Stop denial! Could they die? How many people have to die? What do we want? Free healthcare! When do we want it? Now! What do we want? Free healthcare! When do we want it? Now! Free healthcare! Shut it down!
I love that everyone's wearing Luigi hats.
You know what? Here's the thing. I think I said this in my head earlier, but I was like, yeah, they are politicalizing him and everything, but he's also a person of color. I feel like they're trying to make this to be like, oh, if you're a person of color, don't do stupid, you know, don't be stupid like this. Like
I'm telling you, the fucking ants.
Yeah. Like, oh, like you want to do this? Maybe we should just, you know, start
Shooting y'all.
Yeah.
Like they did back in, what, 2020, 2021 with the BLM stuff?
Yeah. In game, you know.
Yeah.
This corporate greed has got to go! This corporate greed has got to go! This corporate greed has got to go! For justice we will fight! Due process is a legal right! For justice we will fight! Due process is a legal right! We must fight! Healthcare is a human right! Corporate greed, we must fight! Healthcare
back to that one. Go back, go back.
For justice we will fight. Due process is a legal right. What do we want? Now! What do we want?
For the decade my child had to suffer without a diagnosis or treatment because our insurance company didn't want to pay for an evaluation.
Yeah.
What do we want? Now! What do we want? Free Luigi! What do we want? Now! What do we want? Free Luigi! What do we want? Now! Oh, united! We'll never be defeated! The people! United! We'll never be defeated! The people!
We are back from the hearing. I will say, before going to the hearing, we spoke with Pop NYC, which I encourage you guys to go follow them on Instagram, as well as Renegade for Justice. They've been organizing a lot of the protests outside. Like, they're mainly focused on the goals of reforming healthcare. These are activists who spend really any ounce of free time that they have outside of full-time jobs to try and make a change so that you and I can probably live in a better world. And I think right now is a very critical time to join them, support them, see how we can be helpful. But before even going to the hearing, we spoke with a lot of different people from lots of different organizations who were involved in trying to spread messages and organizing protests. And there have been lots of conversations because it doesn't really take a very astute person to realize that mainstream media coverage on this case has been very interesting. And I thought maybe I live in a bubble. Because I don't know if it's I'm just chronically online and I'm just always on TikTok and I'm like, well, I've seen good coverage about this case. I mean, more often than not, mainstream media has bizarre coverage about the case, or they're maybe focused on the wrong things, but I have seen lots of coverage on the case. I did not realize how hostile it was going to be until we got to the hearing. And I don't even think when I got out of the hearing, I could even process the thoughts correctly. So I'm just going to describe to you some of the parts that I've noticed that really stuck out to me. The press line and the public line outside of the courthouse. Unlike previous trial that we've been to, it was divided already into two separate lines. And you could immediately tell that it was two separate lines. I mean, lots of people on the public side were dressed in organized t-shirts. Like, it seemed like everybody was on the same page. It was really well organized. On the press side, everybody was dressed more like members of the press would normally dress. And for the hearing, they allowed a good chunk of the press in. The courtroom was much larger than the federal courtrooms that I've seen. So instead of just like a few rows of press, there were, I think, closer to 10 rows of press.
Oh, wow.
And I maybe only spoke to a handful of independent reporters there. Almost everyone in the rows of, I want to say, like, if I had to take a guesstimate, and don't hold me to this, I want to say at least 8 to 9 press pews were just legacy media.
Mm-hmm.
And they were on the reserve list. So this is in New York State, you get on this reserve list, and most of it is legacy media. And I know this because we stood in line for 48 hours. Well, not we physically, but like the Rotten Mango team, like we had organized this so like we could interchange, and it was a mess. But we were there for 48 hours before the hearing so that we could secure the first few spots, because those are always like the best time to get in and see what's going on. They have a reserve list. So before anybody who waits first come, first serve, they will go through the reserve list. So if a reporter from a legacy media who's on that reserve list shows up 5 minutes before the hearing, they get to cut the line.
Mm-hmm.
And they get priority. They have a whole list and they check. So I'm in the beginning of the line. So every time someone comes up, that list is gone through and they're like, okay, what media are you with? And it was just all legacy media. I mean, I saw a lot of people that I remember from the last trial, and lots of friendly faces, lots of reporters that I really enjoy spending time with and I respect, and they're such kind people and they're compassionate and they're here to do a job, but also some really insane people. I will say even that reserve list was a little strange. It was a little strange because if you know anything about the Luigi Mangione case, or the People v. Luigi Mangione case, because he has 3 different pending trials, there has been a very vocal complaint by people of wanting independent journalists to have access. And I'm not saying I'm an independent journalist. I'm literally just a girl online. So just people who are not part of legacy media, who have to go with certain messages anytime they report on the news, or like filter through certain checkpoints. a lot of people wanted independent journalists in there. And for them to have this very long, lengthy reserve list of legacy media that are allowed priority, I thought was very interesting, especially in regards to this specific case. But regardless, lots of press were allowed in, which is always a good sign. Only 2 rows of public were allowed in. And from the moment that we got to the courthouse, the morning to get in, there was a clash between the press and the public. It felt very strange. There was heavy NYPD presence. There were 2 cops walking past me, and I guess they were trying to understand why the public line was so long. And one of the cops just turns to the other and says, "He's a good-looking guy," and they just like walk away. So, which is fair, but that's like the most normal comment.
What the
of the
fuck?
day.
He's a
So I'm
good-looking
standing in
guy.
line with a lot of members of the press, and I felt confused. So the Rotten Mango team and I were thinking about it, and we were like, this is very strange. So most of the press, I think they handled themselves very professionally, and they were just like normal people doing their jobs, and there were incredible reporters there, incredible journalists there, and like we were lucky to be in their presence. But at the same time, there were certain members of the press where it just felt like they showed a lot more grace to the defendant Sean Combs than the defendant Luigi Mangione. And I feel like across the board, it should be like the same level most of the time, right? And maybe it has to do with the fact that Luigi Mangione is charged with murder and Sean Combs was charged with trafficking and RICO charges, and those he was acquitted of. But at the time when that trial was happening in real time, we did not know that he was going to be acquitted. There was video evidence of him, you know, harming Cassie in the hallways. There was domestic violence that was caught on CCTV camera. And so there were all of these different elements. Just as the Mangione case, there's all these different elements. But it was interesting to see how people showed a lot more grace and benefit of the doubt and presumption of innocence for Sean Combs than they did for Luigi Mangione, which I thought was interesting because there's actually a lot more hard, concrete evidence against Sean Combs at the time. I mean, that CCTV video was everywhere of him committing a violent act with his face in full view, whereas, you know, the Luigi Mangione CCTV outside the Hilton Hotel, some people argue, you can't really see his face.
Yeah.
So that will all be discussed in the trial. That's what people are saying. So I thought it was very interesting that they showed a lot more grace to Sean Combs, and then when they get here for the Luigi case, there was just a lot of crazy words, a lot of crazy comments just like being thrown about, which was fascinating. I think one interesting thought that I had was we were talking to organizers of the protest before we even got to the hearing. The way that they are so committed to trying to change different policies in the United States to make sure that everyone has access to healthcare and quite literally just like save people's lives. That's all they talk about. That's their message. I don't know how they even stay so resilient amongst everything that's going on. But then the way that they get there and all the mainstream media reporters are like, hey, get the girl that says she's dating AI Luigi, and we're just gonna put her on every platform. I will say some media have been better at reporting about the protests and how people don't want capital punishment, how people want to reform healthcare. But the way like the influx of media was like, these people waited 30 hours to see Luigi Mangione. Aren't they crazy? And I was just thinking, it's also crazy because a lot of members of the press wait over 24 hours to get into high-profile cases.
Yeah.
So how are we different? It just felt weird to say they're fangirls, but we're doing our job. It just was so strange. And yes, a lot of the people in the public line, they did wait 30 hours. And some of them had t-shirts that had Luigi's face on them, or they had Luigi's Pizzeria t-shirts. And like, while I do think it's kind of, I don't know, some people might say inappropriate, I just thought that it was more in tune with maybe a younger person's, like it just felt very Gen Z humor. A lot of the reporters were just not running with it. They were actively, out loud, vocally making fun of the people in public. And then they would walk over and try to interview the people in public line. And then they would walk back and say, I don't know why they don't want to talk to me. And I'm like, oh, I could probably list you like 5 reasons just in the past 2 minutes of things you've said. Like, it was very confusing. And I also thought it just felt very hypocritical. And I was kind of shocked by this. Once we got to the second line, so that's like the main line outside the courthouse, then we get funneled in. We had to wait in the very cramped hallway. So one side was reserved for the press. Everybody's like cramped to one side. And then the other side is the very short line for public
Damn,
access.
that
They
girl
let
is
in
strutting.
even fewer people from the public side. And I was just standing there and I'm
She
just
was like, I'm here for my
Yep.
kind of eavesdropping, and I hear the Agnifilos, the Luigi's defense team, they walk in. The elevator's kind of in front of us. We can't really see them. They walk into the courtroom, and then we're going to be led into the courtroom later. So it's going to be the prosecutors walk in, the defense team walk in, press walk in, public walk in, and then Luigi will be escorted in once the hallways are completely cleared of everyone except for the press pit. The press pit is where there's like a little rope barricade, and the press cameras are set up. Everybody's live streaming. Like, those are all the shots that you saw. And we actually had someone from the Rotten Mango team in the press pit who also took a video, but those are the press pits. Everyone that's not in there gets cleared out of the hallway. Luigi Mangione gets walked into the courtroom, and then the judge comes in. So that's kind of the order of things. The defense team, they walk out of the elevator bay, and now they're in the hallway, walking towards the courtroom, away from us. I mean, you're just waiting in the hallway for like an hour trying to get into the courtroom. Of course, when the defense team walks in, you want to get a good look. And these are high-profile defense attorneys. These are people that have been in the public eye. I think it's interesting to even watch them in their element. They're very captivating to watch. And so I'm kind of like looking, and I hear a reporter from Legacy Media look over at the girls in public, and it was like predominantly, I think it was all girls. And she goes, look at them. Look at them craning their necks to get a view. And I was like, I mean, I'm also craning my neck to get a view. Like, that seems like a very normal thing to do in this instance. Like, we have nothing to do right now. We're just waiting to get in the courtroom. And these are high-profile defense attorneys. Yeah, I think everyone wants to see them.
Yeah.
So it was just very strange. And then I overheard another discussion of people talking about, doesn't it smell like weed? I hear one reporter being like, doesn't it smell like weed? And I remember being like, do I have sinus problems? I don't smell weed. I smell weed outside the courthouse because it's the streets of New York City. You smell weed everywhere. But inside the courthouse, I smell zero weed. And the reporter next to them goes, it reeks of weed. It like reeks of marijuana. And they're like, that could be a headline. And
that could be a headline. What
yeah,
headline?
probably Luigi Mangione supporters wait 30 hours, reek of weed. And I'm just like, again, what is happening right now? Like, the public have been nothing but so chill. And actually, they're like here, yes, to support the defendant. And you can disagree with that all you want. Like, totally. You can absolutely objectively say that's against my morals. That's everyone's own opinion, okay? But like, it was weird. It's like, that's not what they're doing. That's not even what's happening. I'm seeing this with my own two eyes. That's not what's happening. I'm confused. I'm sniffing it with my own two nostrils. That's not what's happening at all. And then later, even when we left the courthouse, a lot of the coverage just made it seem like a lot of these people are crazy. I will say maybe mainstream media was a little bit better this time around, which is really good and maybe hopeful for the trial. But they were showing some people protesting for healthcare. But a lot of it still was on girls waited 30 hours. Girls waited 30 hours. And I was like, I don't know, these girlies look like they have a cause. Like, these girlies look like they're here for a mission. And like, you could disagree, you could agree, but it wasn't, it just did not align with what I witnessed.
Yeah.
It did not align at all with what I witnessed, even inside the courthouse, because this is state court. You are allowed to have your electronics as members of the press. So you can bring in your phone. Federal court, you can not even bring in your phone. You can bring in your phone. You can actually work on your laptop in the press pews. If you're a member of the press and you have your press badge on, you cannot record, you cannot film, you cannot like be on the phone. You actually can't have your phone out. Like, you can have it in your bag, you can only have your laptop out. And I think it's because the laptop, usually the camera is just towards you, right? And so that's the whole rules. I feel like there were phones going off in the press pews. Meanwhile, the public, there was nothing. They did not, like, nothing happened. No phones are going off. Everybody
being
was
respectful.
showing the most decorum in a courtroom. And even when the officer first walks in, before Luigi walks in, he's like, no outburst. And he's like mainly talking to the public side.
Dude, that,
and I'm like, I don't even think no one wants to have an outburst.
I think the
like,
cops
they seem
and
like
some of the
they're-
press are just doing
They
way
seem
too
like they're
fucking
taking
much.
it serious than most of the press pews. So I'm like, okay, I don't know. Maybe the last one there were outbursts. I don't know. But it just seems like They don't look like they're about to have an outburst. And so they're just like on their best behavior. And I thought it was kind of unfair that they get labeled as like crazy girls who wait 30 hours for Luigi. And it's like, okay, well, the press also wait like 30 hours to get into high profile cases. And like they will fight to the death to like cut each other in line to get into these high profile cases. So like technically we're all the same people. Like it's fine. Like we don't have to make fun of each other. Everyone's just here to either do their job or be here for a reason that maybe you don't understand, but that's fine. Like you don't have to be so crazy about it. And I will say, like, the public was really guarded with the press, and I totally get it. Like I totally get why.
You say like literally nobody wants to talk to the press openly?
Yeah. And we were actually really lucky because we were like going in throughout the day, even the day previously before the hearing and during the night. Like we had members going in and out of the, like, not the courthouse, but from the line. And we were talking to people and we told them that we were with Rotten Mango, and they seemed a little more open to talk. But like I can totally see why a lot of people felt guarded. And I also noticed what was interesting is a lot of legacy media, they're looking for the people in public that are dressed the craziest.
Yeah.
And those are the people that they want to talk to. They don't want to talk to the protesters with very legitimate signs. I thought the focus of every piece was so weird.
Yeah.
There was another reporter who was sitting next to me who was working on his article before the hearing started. And it was just talking about how there was one person outside the courthouse. And I think they had a sign, I think I took a picture of it, that said something along the lines of, you know, protect Luigi Mangione before protecting parasites, something to do with the word parasites. And when you have protest signs, they're supposed to be highly emotionally charged. That's kind of the purpose of it. And they were just like really focused on the word parasite in connection with the victim, Brian Thompson. So it seemed like that was their whole piece of how these protesters are calling a murder victim a parasite. And like, I do understand how that can be shocking, right? But I think it's like if you were to look at a giant puzzle and then just only focus on one piece. When it's like, I do think that maybe that one piece is not a great piece. We don't know, right? It's really subjective. But when you look at the whole puzzle, there's like a lot more going on. But it felt like that was the sole focus. So it seemed like everybody was hyper focused on something. And it just felt very strange to witness it firsthand in real time, where I was just so confused. A lot of the protesters were also giving out these stickers. They were giving out stickers. They were giving out pamphlets. And I think the stickers are like a thing people do at protests. It's a sticker. Like, enjoy your sticker. If you don't want a sticker, it's not a big deal. But a lot of the reporters are like making a big deal about the fact that they have stickers. And I'm like, do you also know that they have pamphlets that you can also get? So it just seemed like they were focused on one thing and like hyper focused on only one thing. It got to the point where I don't even think some members of the press I could even have conversations with about this case, because it's like, I just feel like it's weird. Like, this is so passionate, of like so firmly one, when you're technically supposed to go in unbiased.
You're a reporter.
Yeah, like you're supposed
just
to
reporting what's going on.
Yeah.
Rather than having your own little.
It's like, I mean, you go in there and like, yeah, I will admit there was a girl dressed up as Luigi and she was hitting the poses, okay? She had an LED backpack on. She came in early. You know, they were like, she was hitting the poses, and it's like, is that the best thing to do? I don't know, right? And it's fine to just see everything happening and then say, these are all the things that happened. But it seemed like they were very hyper-focused on one very interesting storyline that they kept going with. But regardless, we're inside of the courtroom, and it's a big courtroom. I was very nervous because lots of people had lots of things to say about this judge. And just from the transcripts I read about this judge, he seemed like a no business judge. And we were just all waiting for Luigi Mangione to be walked in. And it was like an oddly high tense moment. And the press pews, all of us were craning our necks to get a view of Luigi Mangione, right? And so everybody's craning their necks because that's what you do. And the doors would open and you actually hear his shackles before you see him.
Oh wow.
And I think that was a very
That's
interesting
crazy.
moment because it's like dead silent in the courtroom and you just hear his shackles.
Wow.
And then he turns the corner, walks into the courtroom, and I'm not really sure what I was expecting. I don't really think I was expecting anything, to be honest. I didn't really give it much thought, but I have seen, obviously, all the videos of him being escorted into courtrooms and like the footage of him in courtrooms. And this time he was dressed in like a beige sand-colored prison uniform, and he had shackles around. He had the handcuffs that were tied to his waist, and you could hear the shackles on his ankles. And when he walked in, I don't know if they just used, because we're all sitting down, I don't know if they just picked the shortest court police officers. But he was tall. He was much taller. And I know people are going to ask, and I don't think it has much to do with the defendant's
people are so
looks
funny.
or anything. But just because people are going to ask, I'm going to answer the questions before they're asked a million times in the comments. He was much taller than I expected. Like, very tall. To the point where I was like, I want to ask Mark Agnifilo how tall he is. Because he was like, even when he was standing next to the attorneys, he was very tall. So I'm like, okay, he's much taller than I expected. But one thing was interesting was, and okay, this was my very beloved researcher who was sitting next to me. And she said afterwards, if I'm going to be fully honest, she's like, I thought going into it, Luigi has almost become this persona, like this person, like this figure. And so she thought going in, there would be some element of underwhelmingness. Remember, she was like saying, you know, because you see people talking about him and you see these videos and you're like, okay, I'm going to go in, and you're just going to realize he's just another person. And like maybe it's even underwhelming because people have these big ideas and visions of what people look like in person. Like a lot of people said Sean Combs is going to look very aura. He's going to have this insane aura, like this bigger than life personality. And then he just looks kind of like an old man. He looks very intense, but still.
No, this is like literally how I felt when I met like Nikki from TwitchCon. I was like, oh my gosh, it's just like, yeah. It's just like realizing like, oh my gosh, like I'm in front of another, human being, but they just like do something that's like out of the ordinary. Like they get money from this and, they make other people happy.
Yeah,
It's just
my
like,
dumbass when I bumped into Camila Cabello, fucking blind, might I add, bitch. Recognized her voice though. Camila Cabello has a very distinctive voice. Like you can tell that it's her. When I bumped into her that day when she went for an with Fifth Harmony, like when she was in Fifth Harmony for the signing at the mall. Oh my God.
See, like, no, it's just so weird because we put so much on our favorite celebrities or like gamers and all that, and then when we see them, we're like, oh, like they're just another person. Like when I was asking for pictures and like autographs, I'm like, they're literally just a human being that I just looked up to. But yeah, that's my point of view of meeting, celebrities and people that I like.
Ultimately kind of like an old man. And so
I
she
think
thought it was
mine
going
is
to be like
different
that.
because A, I bumped into her. B, I was on not dialysis. What is it called? When they
Yeah,
put the eye drops.
it's dialysis.
Oh, okay. When they put the eye drops in your fucking eyes, because it was like I was actually getting my first like contacts, like eye contacts, fitting in. So that was the day I went to go get my eyes fitted. Basically, was the day I met Camila Cabello accidentally. I only bumped into her, and that's fucking crazy.
Yeah.
Because I mean, dude, she was very like helpful. Um, she was just kind of like, I think she noticed that something was wrong because I was kind of squinting at her, and I was like,
oh no,
9, 8, like 8 to 10 years old.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, so then I was squinting. Mind you, my eyesight has debilitated like at that point of my life. Like it just went from shit over there. So I think you kind of know what my eyesight looks like.
Oh, yeah, I know.
Yeah, so basically for those who are listening, my eyesight is basically if you were to make everything blurry, right? It's kind of like when you're looking underwater, you know how blurry it is?
Yeah.
So that, and then on top of that, the images or like the things that are right in front of you, they're just shapes and fuzzy, blurry blobs. That's it. Like
Yep.
I can't see a person's face. I don't know how tall they are. A pole and a person can look the same. A tree and a person can also look the same. The only reason how I know the difference between a tree and a person is because a tree is way fucking taller.
True.
But like I can't see like 4 inches, maybe like 3 inches away from my face.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Back to
What she said
back
that
to walking.
he is very tall. He is very built. He's very buff. It seems like he got a lot more built than his last court appearance, but he has a very strong energy to him. Like his posture is impeccable.
Yeah, I think his posture is.
Yes.
Yeah.
But it's also the way he carried himself, and it was interesting. If anything, I don't think he really looked at any of the pews. If anything, he might have, I don't think, but he might have looked at the public pews. But for the press pews, he was very reserved, did not look. He just looked ahead, went straight, sat down, and there were 3 police officers surrounding him on the back, so nobody could really even see him throughout the hearing. And this is the hearing where they dropped the terrorism charges. The judge dropped the terrorism charges in New York State. These are the charges, along with the federal prosecutors seeking capital punishment, that people had the biggest problem with. Because it's one thing to either agree or disagree with Luigi Mangione. It's another thing to feel like he's not getting fair treatment in the law. Because a lot of, like I said, a lot of mass killers don't get terrorism charges. So it didn't make sense. It almost felt like people were prioritizing a corporate CEO. And so there was a lot of discourse about that. Those charges got dropped. So ultimately, the most severe case that he is facing in New York State court is second-degree murder, which is like 15 to 25 years. But he still has like all those weapons charges. And I don't know if, it's a big win, but he's still facing capital punishment in his federal case.
Yeah, which is, everything that he's fighting for, right?
I think the state cases, they're very important, but that federal case is probably the most important.
Yeah.
And so the terrorism charges being dropped here is a big win, but I saw some people online made it seem like he's going to get off. I don't think that's the case. I think he has a very long uphill battle ahead of him, especially with the federal case. But the terrorism charges were dropped. The energy in the courtroom, because the press were allowed to have their laptops, it was like a moment of pause. And then just like everyone's typing away, like live tweeting everything. And then the public, they're stoic. They are on their best behavior. They're like, they got this on lockdown. They're like, we are not giving you a reason to write an article about us, okay? Even though you guys already are writing articles about us, we're gonna, no. It was crazy. Like, it was on lockdown. But then my researcher outside, who was recording all of the protests outside, she was texting and she was like, everyone's cheering. Wow. She's like texting into the group chat and she's like, everybody's cheering that the terrorism charges are dropped. So it's very different energies inside the courthouse, outside the courtroom. It was just fascinating. And then there were brief conversations about just dismissing the charges. There were brief conversations about the HIPAA violations, but none of that gets resolved. And like, I know there's this one picture of Luigi Mangione looking like, what the hell is going on? And people are like, what did he hear to make him have that look? I think, because we can't see very clearly, I think it was the HIPAA violation.
That was not dropped.
Yes, like that was not even covered and settled. And I also think it's like the prosecutors being like, no, we're not going to drop the charges. Like, we're going to go. And then he gets walked out. I did notice something. As he's walking out, he did kind of raise his eyebrows at the press pews, like once. Like, it was just like one eyebrow raise. And it was just like given like, right about that, bitch.
Do what you want.
It almost felt, not that I agree. I don't even think that's what he's doing. You know, I misread everything in life. I don't think that's what he's doing. But if that is what he's doing, it felt almost justified because of everything I had sat through and listened to all morning of the way that people were talking about this case and the way people were talking about even the public. I mean, people had way more hate-filled things to say about this public section than they did about people who showed up to support Sean Combs, like fans of Sean Combs. And I thought that was interesting because with the Combs case, everybody saw that CCTV video, and the presumption would be if you still show up to support him without having a personal connection, the underlying assumption would be you just really like his music. But with Luigi's case, it's like the presumption would be maybe you're upset about healthcare in America. Maybe like it's just like a little bit more complex, but it was the way that they treated the people showing up for Luigi Mangione as like the most simple-minded little girly pops. And I was like, I mean, that could be the case, but also you don't know that's the case.
Yeah.
And like technically your job as a reporter is to either find out if that's the case or do something about it. Like you can't just like assume that's the case. It was just weird. It was weird. And that was not the majority of reporters. I think 99.9% of them are incredibly just talented people that I can only aspire to have even an ounce of their abilities. But
you know, that's weird because, you know, we literally cover cases that they're fans of a killer because they look certain ways.
Yeah.
And usually those are still minorities. Like people do not show up to support someone because they look certain ways.
No, like
so if that's the main message, then we're not getting the real story.
Yeah.
Right.
And that was a lot of the main message that people saw. I will say TikTok was way better about it. TikTok, there was a lot of just like memes that occurred afterwards. There were conversations of why he wasn't wearing court-approved clothing like he had been in the previous hearings. Some people have not conspiracies, but theories and speculations that his defense attorneys had brought this brown paper bag and they had brought clothes for him, but because he had gotten a lot more built over the course of the past few months, he was no longer able to fit in the court-approved clothing. So that was one theory. Another theory was with everything happening in the US and all of the high-profile cases, they were just on extra lockdown and they would not allow him to be in court-approved clothing. And then there is another theory that it's because of Sockgate, you know, those little heart messages that were in his socks. So it was kind of a mixture of those. It's unclear. They didn't really go over it during the hearing, so I'm not entirely sure, but he was in his prison uniform.
And those uniforms are super viral in Chinese social media now.
Yes. So Chinese netizens, I was actually intrigued because and I think it has to do with the country. Obviously, a lot of the people that support Luigi Mangione in the United States are supporting Luigi Mangione because of healthcare reform, because this affects us on our daily lives and our family members who all live in the United States and have healthcare in the United States. Chinese netizens, they're like, hey, we got our own healthcare. We don't care about your healthcare system. We call him Lulu, so that's his nickname in China. And a lot of people say that color of the prison uniform is the color of the season now. And so a lot of designers in China are now incorporating the sand-colored uniform to like all of their looks. And there's just a lot of internet comments that are doing internet things. There is a TikTok going around of a reporter talking about the case and all of the fangirls. And Pop NYC, they have these LED trucks that drive around the courthouse during the hearing. Like I would say they changed the screens and most of it is talking about healthcare, how to get informed, how to get involved, how to try to make a difference.
Marketing.
And then some of them just have like Luigi's face on there while they're like spreading facts about how to make a difference and like how to assist in these protests. And one of them is him like kind of side-eyeing and that truck is just driving by the reporter as she's actively talking about him and people are like, a drive-by mug is insane. And again, like these are people who do take cases seriously. But at the same time, it's just like Gen Z humor. And I feel like legacy media has not caught on to that. Because even the Reddit comments, like legacy media would have a heart attack. And all the Reddit comments are like, not a bad angle. There's not a single bad angle of this man, which is crazy. That's what people are saying. I don't know. Okay. There are other people commenting that they need to put taller guards with him because putting all these short guards with him are not doing the prosecutors any favors. People are commenting that. Yeah.
Everyone is
People are
making fun of,
commenting,
like,
I
I
miss my
saw that people
husband.
are
Like,
making
there's
fun
a
of the
lot of
cops.
interesting comments.
Really?
Yeah, when it was, I think that it was like in the beginning of the video when they were transferring Luigi from Philadelphia to New York. He
Oh,
was
with all
like,
them
there were all of
cops,
those.
yeah.
Yeah, everyone's like, look at how tall this man is. Like, he's almost like he's around the same height as a lot of those cops. But then there's also some short ass fucking cops over there. And then they're like, what the fuck is he gonna do? All chained up and shit. And like, these, look at how big,
I know there were
bad,
so many.
and so many people were like making fun of these cops. And like, I mean, I get it, right? But at the same time, these guys
Yeah.
are doing their job. But another thing too is that there is a lot of hate for Luigi. I understand that he murdered someone, but
Yeah.
allegedly. But it's like they're using him as kind of like, hey, this is what happens when you do us wrong.
Yeah.
But also the people are just kind of like, bro, what the fuck? Like, when they put down the terrorist charges,
Mm-hmm.
I was like I said, it didn't make sense that he got a terrorist charge
Yeah.
because he only killed one person and he wasn't threatening the lives of
Others.
other
Yeah.
US citizens. Because again, like, my understanding of terrorism is if someone from another place or location is trying to make that country scared, right?
Yeah.
Hence why I use the
Installing fear.
9/11 and the marathon bombing as
Yeah.
like examples. It's just like, it didn't make sense that he had that terrorist charge because he only killed one person, allegedly
Yep.
killed one person.
Allegedly, yeah.
Whereas even those fucking school shooters, even now the school shootings are happening, they don't have terrorist charges on them.
Nope.
They killed multiple people.
Yep. Kids. Fucking
Kids, teachers,
All
shit.
ages.
I mean, yeah. Excuse me. Oh my god.
And they're mostly white men.
Yeah.
Continuing.
Okay, and I think a lot of these people take cases in the United States very seriously. They take healthcare conversations very
I
seriously.
saw someone in
Yeah.
the Chinese platform. There's a shot of him. Someone flashlight it, so it's like super dramatic with his shadow casting on the wall.
Damn!
His shadow looks good.
Yeah, like people are making jokes. Does that mean that they don't take anything seriously? No, I think it's just like,
it's just another way of
It's
putting
the internet.
spotlight
it's the
onto it.
internet. Like, what can we do about it? There's nothing we can do about it. He's in the courtroom for like 10, 15 minutes, and then he is escorted back out. I think there was a moment, from what I saw online, of people who were in the public pews. They said that it seemed like he was trying to look at the people in public briefly, but it seemed like the court officer pulled on him. And then there was a moment where, like, I don't think it looked like it hurt, but they were saying like it almost looked like he rolled his eyes, but it was not because he's like rolling his eyes at the public, but it was like there was like a yank and pull situation. I couldn't see from my angle, but that would make a lot of sense because these court officers were genuinely acting like this is Hannibal Lecter. Everybody watch out.
Yeah.
And I was like, I mean, yes, there are very serious charges on the indictment, but like, this is crazy energy. This is a lot of energy right now. Like, it was a lot. It was intense. Like, I've never seen that many court officers on one floor at once. Yeah, and another thing that was very interesting was we had a team member that was in the press pit. So she is trying to take photos in the hallway. So she was taking a photo and video of Luigi walking down the hallway into the courtroom. We were in the courtroom, right? And she was saying one thing that was so fascinating. And she's like, I don't know if it depicts in the videos. I'm sure it does. You know, she's telling us, I'm sure it does. But, you know, defense, you guys saw them walk in. And we're like, yeah. And she's like, you could barely see them. Like, I couldn't even get Karen on camera because she's walking so fast. Like, they're just like, boom, in and out, in and out. I'm like, hold on, can you walk a little slower? And then Luigi Mangione, they're just like dragging him. Okay. So like, same thing. It's like happening so quick, so quick. And she said, I don't know what the prosecutors are doing. But when they were walking down the hallway, she said it was like, like people joke about the Met Gala online. And she was like, I thought it was a joke. But they're like shaking hands with every court officer
Oh.
that's like guarding the hallway from Hannibal Lecter. They're just like the slowest walk. It's like slow motion football team headed onto the court field. I don't know, whatever. And she thought it was the weirdest thing ever. And she was like, I also didn't like want to get so much video of them because nobody even knows them and nobody cares. So she was like, it just like was so long for what? Like she was saying it was not normal. So that's why a lot of people are saying, again, yeah, maybe these prosecutors are all fighting to get the first bite at Luigi Mangione. And again, regardless of if you agree or disagree with what he is accused and has allegedly done, it's, you know, when the justice system is unfair to one person, that one person could be you the next day. That one person could be a loved one the next day. So they're just saying, like, regardless of how you feel, if it's unfair, it's unfair, and that's not how it should work. I will say, even when the prosecutors walked into the courtroom, I was like, why are all of y'all here? Okay, so first of all, it's a hearing. It's a hearing. And only 2 prosecutors were in, like, the bullpen. I think, okay, maybe 2 or 3. They were in the bullpen. And one of them had their phone horizontal before Luigi came in. And I was like, is he watching a live stream right now? I don't know. It just kind of was the vibe. It was the vibe, but I don't know. My eyes are not super laser, you know, 40/40 eyesight. I couldn't see, but it was horizontal, which was weird. Like, are you watching a video right now? What's happening? What video could you possibly be watching right before a hearing that's more pertinent than the hearing unless it be a live stream, right? And so I thought that was very interesting because he was just like this. And another thing that was odd is, and I know I keep referencing this trial and it's like my recent experience, obviously, and hopefully as I get more experience, I can reference other trials. But in the federal case, which are usually more high profile cases, like the Sean Combs case, you had all the prosecutors, like 6 of them, and they all sit in the bullpen. So they're all working on this case. They're like the prosecutors on this case. So there were only 2 for Luigi's New York State hearing. But a whole row of them filled up on the very first row on the prosecution side. So they're not participating, and I'm sure they're working on this case heavy, but it was like, I don't know if all of you guys needed to show up like full row deep, because even for the federal case, there are other prosecutors who are working on the case that are not part of the 6. And those prosecutors will show up, like, remember how I was saying they're like 2 rows ahead of the press pews? And really, they only show up on really big days of the trial. And that's the trial.
Wow, you're observant.
Yeah, like they show up, huge witness testimonies. They show up on big cross-examination days.
Yeah.
Like they're not there most of the time because they're working on the case probably, right? But a full row? And they walked in like they were on an episode of Suits. And I was like looking at the defense attorneys and I was like, it just was a different energy. Also, I did overhear Karen Agnifilo. Listen, Mark Agnifilo, I know people have thoughts about him, obviously, because he does represent a lot of interesting people, including Keith Raniere, like lots of interesting clients previously. Karen Agnifilo worked primarily as a prosecutor for a very long time before becoming a defense attorney. She is a very fascinating person. Like, her aura is also crazy. Okay, like I said, Mark has like a teddy bear aura, which he really let his wife do everything on this case. Like, she is lead counsel. And she was standing there and they like to observe the courtroom before Luigi Mangione comes in. And I guess someone had whispered to her, "Are you nervous?" Because the first thing I can distinctly hear her say is, "I'm not nervous. Why would I be?" And it was not like a, why would I be? Like, it was just like pure confidence. Like, I have nothing to be concerned about. It was giving like, there is nothing for me to be nervous about. Not like me, but like our side of the case to be nervous about, which I thought was very interesting. And so it's just a very different aura from the prosecutors coming in like a row and a half deep, doing a very long walk down the hallway. And
that's interesting.
Potentially watching the live stream after. And like, as someone who's trying to get on that reserve list, should I be saying this? Probably not, but here we are. So it was a crazy, hectic day. And so updates on this case. Terrorism charges have been dropped. There was a lot of hope, and I think the defense attorneys are pushing for the New York State case to be dropped entirely because, I mean,
wow.
second-degree murder charges, it's like, come on, he's facing capital punishment in the federal court. Like, you want to spend all that taxpayer money to be doing all of this right now? And clearly, lots of prosecutors are working on this case. And there's so many cases in New York, and I think this is where people can be mad collectively. Like, again, you can hate Luigi Mangione. You can love Luigi Mangione. Who cares? But it's the fact that you're using taxpayer money to go so hard on this case, and there are so many unsolved cases in New York. There's so many families like waiting for answers in New York, and you're like, no, let me pour so much more resources on this case that even the federal court is also trying simultaneously. It just feels like
the
that's
feds
not what
are
the people
already
want.
doing this. Like, why are we doing this double, triple times?
Yeah, it's like, and again, on taxpayer money when you can be focused on other cases, or is it the fact that you don't care and you just want a high profile case under your belt? Because if that's the case, you're not for the people, are you?
Yep.
So that's been like a huge thing. They just want the case dropped in New York State because they're like, it's not like he's going to go free. Like, he's facing capital punishment. Like, come on, right? I don't think that's going to happen. The prosecutors have already stated at the hearing and later to media, like, they're going to still pursue second-degree murder.
Wow.
As well as the weapons charges. And the next hearing for them will be December 1st. The federal hearing is December 4th, and probably sometime December, we're finally, hopefully, going to figure out which case starts first, which case proceeds first, and where that's going to go from there. I do know that he has a hearing in November in Pennsylvania, which, like I said, there was like that whole argument of, can he come in person? The feds are like, absolutely not. It's been a back and forth, but it seems that he will not be attending that hearing. So it seems like right now it's really between New York State and the feds of who goes first, with most people assuming it's going to be the federal case. And that's just what I've been hearing, even with like the press members. They're just saying it seems like it's going to be the federal case. So that will be probably, hopefully, there will be some updates in December, but we will just have to see. And that is where we are with this case. I do think that it was very interesting to go and attend the hearing. Definitely follow Pop NYC, Renegade for Justice. I think even as the trial proceeds, it's going to be really important to find a lot of different sources that are maybe not aligned with legacy media, just to see and make sure that you're getting thorough and fair coverage of the case. So keep an eye out for that and be safe. I will see you guys in the next one.
Bye. Hi, Stephanie.
Oh. Ah, mosquito. Wait, I need a bag.
A bag?
Yeah. Remember how I told you earlier the mosquito people were like, oh, can we get a live one? And I was like, you want me to what now?
Oh.
Ah! Ah! Go back.
They're attacking.
Oh, did you see it?
No.
Keep an eye out for that.
There.
Oh! Of course.
Everywhere, man.
That was honestly the most. Oh my god, I love those backpacks. That was the most. Like, okay, here's the thing. I've been trying to watch Rotten Mango for a while.
Yeah.
But I'm so burnt out from work and other shit that I can't, like, watch it. So, honestly, that was kind of, like, refreshing to watch.
Especially, like, seeing, like, behind the scenes, too.
Yeah, dude, that's fucking crazy. But, like, oh my god. I think another thing, too, is that I know people will try to say, like, oh, it's just fangirls and stuff like that. But, like, I mean, Don't get me wrong. There are people who will just fantasize about that man.
Yeah.
However, this is a whole nother thing on top of that. It's not just, hey, this guy is good looking. It's the fact that a lot of people aren't getting the health care that they need.
Yeah.
Like, I think I heard that Luigi's grandma had some sort of terminal illness, and she was on United Health. Is that the
United Healthcare? Yeah.
Yeah, United Healthcare, and she was denied, and she ended up dying. So I mean, dude, that would make anyone fucking crazy. Yeah. Like, if my grandma didn't get, like, my grandma recently got breast cancer surgery. She got the tumor removed from one of her breasts, and luckily it was caught early, so they're still testing it to see if it was benign or malignant. I'm really hoping that it's not gonna spread, just because this is the woman who raised me. Like, no offense to my mom and my dad, but like, my mom and dad are divorced. Throughout almost my entire life, it was just back and forth, them arguing all the fucking time. Or if it was not them arguing, it was me being the middle person, talking to my dad about what my mom said and talking to my mom about what my dad said. Like, it was fucking stupid. So, like, my grandma was the only one who taught me. Like, she raised me. Which is fucking crazy, because she's now 77 years old. She's gonna be 77 in a couple of months. So, dude, fucking crazy.
Oh, here's like some of the comments. Someone said 20 hours ago, if only they had put the same effort into convicting pedophiles, sexual abusers, pedos, sexual abusers, serial killers, and school shooters.
No, for real, that's what I'm saying, is that, like,
someone else said, people can say what they want, but the Luigi case really proves his entire point. People only care about the lives of those with status. Because as Stephanie said, school shooters don't even face these penalties. And I hope the jury can see this as well.
They won't. Never, ever will they ever see that shit. This has now become a popularity contest at this point.
Yeah. It comes off as super sexist, as the press immediately labeled any and all of the women who come to support Luigi fangirls, like the only reason a woman would be politically active or care about this very political trial is because they think Luigi is hot.
Mm. Also, what the fuck? Why would you put Luigi in fucking character AI?
Okay, that's a person. That is a human being that does that. You know, that's I mean, you know.
Right? That's what I'm like. Why the fuck would you do that? It just, for me, it does not make sense in the slightest. Like, you can make it about a fictional character, just not IRL.
Someone said, I am not saying I am an independent journalist, what Stephanie said, and they put in, Girly Pop, I'll say it for you. I trust you more than I do mainstream media.
I do.
No, literally, with the whole David case, Stephanie is my homegirl. Anything, ever since I lived with Jeannie and she introduced me to Rotten Mango, I'm like, Rotten Mango is my... Rotten Mango and Hassan Abi are like my two trusted, reliable sources.
Yeah,
anything that's happening in the world.
What is it? For me, it's what is it? It's Stephanie. Like, she will be the only journalist that I will, like, listen to. Not listen to as in, like, oh yeah, I will follow her every, like, whim and whatever the fuck she says is, like, the gospel truth. No, it's just...
Yeah.
She even though she tries not to put her emotions in, she always makes sure she fact checks everything. She doesn't put her emotions in. I mean, yeah, she can say, like, her opinion on something, but she's very, like, unbiased.
Yeah, she even took down a video because someone came out to her team and said, like, oh, like, anything that you said wasn't true, and she posted, like, she said that, like, she was sorry and that, like, the team will do more better in research and everything. And I was like,
oh yeah, I saw that.
I was like, yes.
Those aren't fangirls. Those are activists. Those are women standing on business and looking great while doing it.
Period. Someone said, I'm in the UK and it's terrifying how they have gone after Luigi like it's a personal vendetta. They try to humanize a CEO by saying he's a husband and a father, but he's still happily denied hundreds of people life saving care by refusing their policies. Luigi is also someone's son. He's not just fighting for himself, he's fighting for everyone in the US, and he needs public support. It's sickening how corrupt officials like politicians, CEOs, celebrities are protected while poor people are hung out to dry.
Exactly.
Preach! Preach. Yep. Yeah.
Dude, my stomach still hurts. What the fuck did I eat?
What did you eat?
A burger. Dude, I have such bad baby fever right now.
Oh my goodness.
No, it's so bad. There's like a couple of babies that came into work and they were just like looking at me. And it's kind of scary when you're wearing like this black mask, like the face mask on your face. Because it's
Yeah.
like, oh shit, that's kind of scary looking, especially for a baby. But they're just like staring at me. And then they would be smiling. And then today when I was in Somi, there was a little like baby who was like waddling towards me with his hands up going hi, like he was like waving. I don't think he could speak. He was like at the stage where like they don't speak but they're walking.
Okay,
And
I
dude, he was
have
so
a really long one.
Uh-huh.
And I think this is very interesting. This what person said in the comments. When the George Floyd protests were here, I decided to show up as a street medic. I'm a former combat medic. I train others, and I saw a need for folks handing out water bottles and ice pops. At my very first protest, someone from our local conservative paper immediately beeline to me in my camo med bag, wanting to interview me. I think they saw the obvious military gear and thought they were going to get someone more bloodthirsty, but instead they got me. They asked me why I was there, what I was hoping to achieve, and I told them. I'd watched the most recent protests unfold on Facebook Live, that I watched the local cops open fire in what had been a peaceful protest, that I watched the black man hosting the live stream get shot with a rubber bullet and knocked out, that I seen my phone screen fill with an image of the sky as his phone fell to the ground and people all around him screamed for help, screamed for a medic. But there weren't any real medics there, no one to help. So I came and I told the reporter that. I asked her, how could I just sit at home and watch peaceful citizens be violently attacked, listen to them screaming for a medic, and just sit there knowing I could be here helping instead, when I know I have the skills to help? She seemed stunned, but took down my info and thanked me for my time. I didn't honestly think much of it. I expected if it ever made into the paper that my words would be mocked or twisted in some way. But that wasn't what happened. Apparently, in quote unquote, in parentheses, I never had the chance to read it for myself. She actually put what I said in the article, no twist. My boss actually read it and asked me about it my next day at work. But it was already gone from the internet before I ever had a chance to read it. Apparently that reporter got fired for the article, and the fact that she had a veteran speaking kind and calm words of support that weren't partisan at all really esteemed someone over at the paper. This is unfortunately just how the press is run these days. Anyone who actually wants to be a journalist for a major newspaper, website, TV station must give up journalistic integrity in order to keep working. So all we end up left with is the sludge who have zero desire to do real journalism. Thank the gods for Rotten Mango.
Yeah.
It's true. Like, even just seeing like movies or TV shows about it, like when you actually want to be unbiased and truthful and putting out the truth, you get fired for it. You have to fend for yourself, and they have to go, what's it called, independent. They have to be independent.
Yep.
My lord. No, someone also said the court artist really did him dirty too. I looked at it, I was like,
I was like, that don't look like him.
that don't look like him. But yeah.
Oh, you're
world that
fucking kidding me.
what?
There was a homicide at the park near where I live
Oh.
4 days ago.
Oh, remember when I used to tell you the news? I'm like, oh my gosh, look, someone.
No, now I get like there's been at least someone getting pew-pewed or something.
Yeah, it's
And it's
it's
so
horrible.
bad. Why I don't drive.
But yeah, that was Rotten Mingo on the Luigi case.
Oh. That's crazy, and I'm so glad that we watched that because honest to God, I don't think I would have been able to just sit here and watch it on my own. Like the thing is that I can't watch certain videos without you anymore. Like Rotten Mango, I can't watch it by myself. Like I'm like I need Anjanette somewhere. Like I need Anjanette on the call so I can like there's gonna be certain shows that feel a little like supernatural. I can't watch it by myself anymore. That's why I stopped
No.
watching it after season 5.
Oh
Because I'm like I
no.
can't watch it without Anjanette.
Hey, we'll put it on. We'll put it on. I'll rewatch it.
And then like for
She made
example,
me
Rick
she
and
made me a
Morty or
supernatural girly, you know?
yeah, or like
Slay.
I kind of stopped watching Kenji because it's like, oh, Anjanette's not here. I can't watch it with her. Cuz it's like I can't watch it. Like no offense to Shania, but like she's only like we're a decade apart. Like
Yeah,
that's
we
fucking
are.
huge. So
Yeah.
the thing is that the stuff that she watches versus the stuff that I watch are completely different.
Like
So
it's kind of weird cuz like Shania and I were like kind of into the same stuff, but like we never
mhm.
talk about it or like call each other about it. Like with Cat's Eye, we never I was like, "Hey, have you listened to the album?" She's like, "Yeah, it's really good." That's it. We don't
Yeah.
go into like, "Oh, like how did you think about their outfits? Like what do you think the lore is on, you know?" Remember when I
Mhm.
was like, "Gabriella's the cat! Cheating Gabriella's the cat!"
Yeah.
Yeah. Stuff like that.
I was kind of mind blown because when you were saying it's the cat, like what the fuck? I thought they were all cheating on each other.
No, it's so funny. Like some of the girls were like, "Oh yeah, it's about like letting Gabriella not take your man's," and so I was like, Sophia, she's like,
Crazy.
"Well, I think it's like." She said something with school and stuff, and I'm like, woman, how do you get this shit?
Right?
I was like, she's like, yeah, if like someone was taking, my spot in like academics, and I was like, you know what? Okay,
Yeah,
I see you.
I can see that.
I see you.
Um. Oh shit! I didn't tell you. So you remember how? I think I said it, but I don't know if I told you. I was kind of like flabbergasted when I got home, and very relieved. So you know how I was telling you that one of my spiders looks like fat, and I don't know if she's pregnant or not.
Yes.
Turns out she was just fat. Um, because I came back and yesterday I was looking and I saw more red. And mind you, it is a red jumping spider. I saw more red than I should have, and I was like, "What the fuck is that?" And I thought they were babies, but I'm like, "No, the babies couldn't be like born already. Like they can't be out of the like I didn't even see her create the egg sac. How the fuck are the babies emerging from an egg sac?" So then I look
Yeah.
closer, dude. She just molted. AKA she shed her exoskeleton. So I'm like, thank
Dang.
the gods. But now I have to
You're not
remove the
a mother.
exoskeleton. I
You're
know,
not
I'm
a
like,
mother. A
I'm not gonna be a
grandmother.
grandma. Oh my god.
Wow.
But I have to remove the exoskeleton, but I'm gonna wait a week because it takes I know it could probably take a couple hours to a couple of days for the exoskeleton to harden.
Yeah.
So I don't want to bother her and end up damaging it in some way.
Mhm.
So I'm gonna give it a week and then I'll remove the exoskeleton because she's still in the cocoon that I showed you.
Mhm.
She's still in the cocoon, so I'm gonna wait and then I'll kind of move her with my paintbrush.
Okie
It's kind of
dokie.
cute though that you have to use a paintbrush to nudge her.
Like, here you go. Nudge, nudge. Alrighty. We are going to end the stream here.
Thanks
Oh,
for watching.
yeah, thanks so much for watching. Cause this is just gonna be a VOD, cause I don't have time to edit. because my mind will absolutely go insane. But yeah, leave a comment down below. I'll put Jeannie's stuff in the description. But yeah.
Yeah, I won't be streaming for a set schedule for a while because I'm trying to figure out shit, and also I'm trying to get a new job. So once I have all that shit figured out, which I don't think, honestly, I think I'm gonna stay at my current job for a fucking while until I get my veterinary degree. Well, while that's happening,
Yep.
girl, what do you have on your shirt? I can see
It was
messing
no,
with
it was a mosquito. I was trying to see if I got it, but I didn't get it. Let me cover myself, you know.
Yeah.
I'll get some on me.
I'm trying to stream at least once or twice a week. That is the goal. For at least an hour. But, you know, that'll be a little difficult until I kind of have a set schedule ish.
Yeah.
Also,
Alright.
once I fix my fucking internet.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. All right. Bye bye. Bye guys. Put an outro. Woo.
That's crazy. I want the food that I made at Mark's apartment. That was a long stream. Yeah. I started going on Instagram and sending you shit. But, no, dude, I'm being so dead ass, I can't watch certain shits, like, without you now. Like, I have so many show recommendations because you used my Netflix, like, my account. So I'm just like, I can't even watch it because Anjanette's not here, and this is the shit that she would like to watch.